And we are back. Another 90 to put in the bucket. So we're starting here. This is the last section. Consumer purchases, list price. There were some parts on that quiz that I don't read that whole information and I don't remember going over certain parts, but it's okay. I guess. Common sense helps. So sales tax, excise. We talked about these delivering, shipping, handling, where indirect costs can be a part of your purchasing process. All right, consumer protection. This is actually kind of important a little bit. All right, you got the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, which assure that consumers are aware of deceptive business practices and fraud schemes of, they have ratings of businesses, and these ratings are passed out based off practices and their investigations and stuff like that. They can shut down businesses. It's really cool, or cool, I guess. Or I think I'm thinking more of the BBB, the Better Business Bureau. Um, Consumer Reports. That's actually more what I'm referring to, the consumer advocacy groups that rate the businesses. The FCC, if it gets bad enough, they'll come shut it down. State level protections, state attorney general. Like we had a car situation that we were about to start reporting up there or to the FCC. I think we ended up reporting it to the BBB. That was a situation essentially with a car that might have been a lemon. Within months of purchasing it, no, within the first month of purchasing it, it just had all these issues. Um, and then now things happened. And I guess the dealership changed hands and ownership. So yeah, Consumer Financial Bureau Protection Bureau. From bad lenders and credit card fraud or credit, yeah. SEC. They protect investors on the stock market and stock exchange. Let's see. These are things to help consumers. Factory warranties. You got to use these every once in a while. I've applied some of these for, like, say, cars, electronic devices, computers. Um, yeah, this one's referring to a example they're using is a 5 years, 660,000 mile coverage for engine and transmission defects. If anything happens within that time, they gotta fix it. They gotta pay because that stuff gets costly, and it shouldn't happen within that amount of time. So, extended warranties happen beyond the warranty period. They might feel like something's going on, or during testing, something keeps coming up. It's just good faith. Service plans. For example, like I said, this is actually a good one. I said our example I used earlier for savings plans, or AC went out this spring, right before the summer. Thank goodness, because it was a hot, ridiculously hot summer. So that would have been crazy. But with it came a plan like this, where there's a service plan within purchasing it for up to like 10 years, which is good because then it's like kind of like we don't have to pay for that extra cost because it's kind of built in, but it's good. Um, and then product liability lawsuits, legal action taken against. So I know the example that comes to my brain is Nintendo and their Joy Cons. That's so funny. I got my Switch right here. These bad boys. They definitely got a lawsuit against the drifting problem. with the joysticks. Eventually, it got to the point where enough people came together, and Nintendo was no longer able to charge to repair them. They had to repair them for free because it was an actual issue. So they were referring to like lawsuits of a car airbags that cause injuries, and yeah. But I'm gonna keep it light. The Joy Cons, perfect example. They help those unexpected expenses on damage or defective goods. They make consumers feel good, make us feel protected, safe, and like I said, mitigate risk. Application for teaching financial literacy. Inspiring teachers to educate students on evaluating warranty and service plan terms before purchasing. Agreed. Case studies to illustrate the impact of product liability laws, consumer rights. Yeah, you shouldn't just learn that in business law as sophomore year in college if you even go to college. And cost benefit analysis to determine if extended warranties, service plans are worthwhile investment. Agreed. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes you get them. Sometimes you don't. Depends what the product is and what it means to you, and I guess the possibility of it breaking. Government intervention, public policies, and economy. Georgia State stuff. Sherman antitrust law that allowed the governments to get rid of monopolies. When they broke up big oil. This is not updated. I'm like, they recently did it Google and Facebook, or they're considering Facebook too, not just Microsoft. So big oil company, 1911, 1980s, Big Bell phone, and then Microsoft, and like I said, recently Facebook and Google are being deemed too monopolistic and anti-consumer. I'll have to sell some stuff or things, break up divisions. Shares entities represent the product. Okay. Minimum wage, regulations on the work week, child labor laws, which are being played with now with all the content creation. Ban of, I don't even know the script payments, anti discrimination legislation. Mm. Mm-hmm. And social welfare, unemployment insurance, which I'm still whatever. Health insurance, sure. Yes. Protection against health and safety. So this is when meat inspection was, put into place. Ooh, these are some interesting times. And then pure, right before the FDA was created in 1906, and they created the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration. Yeah, time before that must have been crazy. Child labor laws freed children to go to school rather than work, which is like free children. Anyone who's been to school for 8 hours a day don't feel free, but interesting, and it feels like work to me. It's very much preparation for the 8 hour shifts of work. There's a lot of they're making classrooms more fun, and I would hope if I'm an educator, I would definitely try to be one of those because there's a lot of mundaneness in school at certain grades that it reminds you of work when you hindsight it all together. Um, and then environmental protection. So the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, which looks like it was established in 1969. Which I like. I worked for an industry that we worked directly for the EPA. It was cool. Just testing waters and soils and dirts, and metals, and all types of testing. Fiscal policy is a combination of tax spending to ensure the economy is operating at that right level. So fiscal policy, we got expansionary, decrease taxes, increase government spending, payment transfers, social security stuff from government to citizens, multiple payments. Oh, the multiple payments received during COVID-19. A little that 2 grand, boy. It's pretty. I think it was like something like that. Used to stalled and economic over high levels. Yes. Then you got contractionary where you increase some taxes, increase government spending. You're trying to reduce all the price increases and inflation that's going on to help combat some of this stuff. You got monetary policies controlled by the Federal Reserve and the central bank do things with the money and the interest rate. Discount rates, interest rate changes banks borrow from it. They can raise or lower it. They're trying to, talk about it now. The amount banks are required to hold in their reservoir or their reserves, open market operations, purchase and sell government securities, adds that money to circulation, stationary policy, expands its money supply, lowering the discount rate, reserve rate, so putting that money into circulation. And then contractionary is reducing the money supply, decreasing it, increasing reserve rate, selling securities, shrink the economy when inflation is getting crazy. What do we? Whoa. So now we're just jumping into. So we're just gonna jump. It's kind of like how I was gonna jump to the week of the thieves. Okay, insurance. Most needed under purchased products. People, sure. Many times, insurance coverage can be the difference between recovery and bankruptcy. True. Coverage, contract. Yeah, life insurance, pet insurance, property, liability. It's a lot of them. Social, disability, mortgage, fire flood, tornado, any natural disaster you can think of, auto, and health. It's more than that, but you need it. But some states are apparently losing it, like California, Florida, as far as private, non-state supply. Um, Auto's for your car, health is for you, life is for if a loss happens, surviving family, disability is for loss of income, purchase or rental is for if something happens to your house or rental property. So yeah, there's government, federal laws with insurance, but most states have their own laws. The first step in selecting insurance is you got to know what you need and who you need it for, the amount of people in your family, or if it's just you and your puppy or cat. That's when pet insurance comes in. Health, yes. Income independence, yes. Access, things you got to protect, yes. Lifestyle. Are you moving around a lot or are you at home? You got your coverage types. Does it cover everything? Does it cover certain things? Does it cover, the minimum? You got your deductible, how much you got to pay out of pocket at that time. something does happen, total amount you got to pay for the whole plan. You got co-payments. Is it co-insurance? Do y'all got to meet in the middle, or do they take care of everything? And then you got to think about, like I said, what's included. Some things are excluded. Let me tell you straight up. For example, yeah, and I like these examples. So, catastrophic medical stuff, high deductible plan for lower premiums. Because I don't go often versus someone who goes often, you might need a lot for that lower deductible because you go a lot. You have to pay. So once again, same thing. Co-payments are good for when you go a bunch of times versus if you don't go so much, you might want to just pay out of pocket. And this one, international travel. International travel is not always covered by your insurance. You gotta make sure it is, or find a plan that does cover it, or like blends it, which I did recently when I went to Japan. The insurer, yeah, you don't want to go for an insurer that's left the state recently, or will leave your state if something, when the stuff hits the fan. State Farm or whoever it was, I can't remember it off the dome. It wasn't good. But sometimes they don't offer stuff in your area, or your company don't. What I mean, it depends. That's where you got to do all that research kind of beforehand, depending on what direction you're going in. Financial ratings, A's. Resolving claims quickly without a lot of back talk. Customer reviews. Bundle policies, which used to be Geico's thing. Ooh, excuse me. That's why we had Geico for. You bundle, but now also has a nice bundle. This bundle progressive. They all bundle decently now, but yeah, the bundle is important. Root ain't. Oh gosh. Yes, root annual because of changes like that, but also review because they might just change it on you for no reason and not tell you and just make you sign off on it and think it's cool. And it's just like no. And if you talk back, or if you push back, or tell them that you might leave, they will sometimes keep your rate the same. And that's something that people need to know. And I'll tell them. Riders and add-ons. Okay. Right. Business insurance policy content prevention mandatory. Guess I'll just remember this somewhere. So I don't get what that's supposed to mean. In order to generate profits, insurance must accurately assess the risk. Yes. Generate profits. Physical changes. Society changes. Commodity simulation come up with the value price underwriters. Scores, credit rating, geosphere software, social. Okay. Interesting. I'm getting a headache. The claim process. So done the insurance claim before, and I guess it's typically how it goes. Someone hit my car when I was teaching tennis at an elementary school. They hit my car, parked car, backed into it, jammed the door. Um, we had to call the police and stuff. Actually, we didn't call the police. I know, and handle most stuff in house, but like I did get my insurance involved immediately, and then they were like, okay, since she's at fault, we need her stuff, and her stuff that she gave me at the time wasn't checking out, so we got to identify policy, contact insured. Oh, this is the claim process. So from other, they were assigned me. They saw my policy. They contacted me, did their investigation, documentation, found out it was their fault and their cause. But then it was time to find them. We had to do a little bit more investigation. Go back to investigation. Boop. Go back to the stage to find the person because the information wasn't checked out. And then, yeah, conclude claim. It was cool. These are the fraud cases. So false claims is when you say something didn't happen that didn't. Inflated is when you over say something that happened, but it was like bigger than it was. Confused. Large group of people. Okay. And then disaster fraud. High value claims, natural disaster insurance companies. You're not the person of the so there's blanket give out stuff. Okay. Utilize Progress may utilize many of the following depending on a claim before it's made: accident reports, doctor evaluation, personal interviews, surveillance, social media, forensic evaluation. Oh yeah, you can't just be going making claims and then not having no proof. They will check all your stuff. This one's important, but it's such a small section. Phishing scams are everywhere. They're in your phone, they're in your emails, they're in your mailbox. You have to be wary. Everything you have to always check websites. That's more of an IT thing more than anything now. You have to check websites and check links and everything to make sure that it is not something phishing you and trying to get all your information. And yes, mind your credit. Because what the first thing they do is that they get your information and they start opening credit cards or draining accounts, ordering things like iPhone 17s, Pros. All right, this might be the end. Uh, let's see how it goes.